besties. My name is Medallio, and I'm back, but with something a little different this time. So, I'm not just an indie reader, I am also an indie writer of romantasy, paranormal, and dark romance. So, I thought that because the second book in my series, the hybrid series, is coming out, it's called Shadow Creatures. It's coming out next week. So I thought that it would be really great to do a behind the scenes video on the inspiration for the first book and basically for the all around series. So let's get into the summary of Youngblood, the first book in the hybrid series. I'm going to read you a little blurb, and then I'll get into a deep dive. Anna, a human hybrid vampire in present day, she endures being taken by a vampire organization called the Order, separated by her imprint, and attacked by her Romani witch mother, all while on a journey to find her kidnapped son. So I thought, how about we do a little character analysis? But not just a character analysis, but a fated mate's character analysis. So let's talk about Anna. So in my opinion, she's loving, determined, caring, and she's very loyal. In one half of the story, Anna is mourning for her kidnapped son and also the people that she's unalived. And the other half of the story, Anna is kidnapped by the Order, and she's actually put under a spell where she has to relive her memories. And when we are reliving her memories with her, this is when we really see how gut-wrenchingly sad Anna really is. And we get to see her as a human. So when we're going through her memories, we get to see her living her life with her adoptive parents before she became a hybrid, and how much she loved them. We get to see her friends and her family from this time period. And this is the 50s that we're going back to for Anna's memories. And we get to see Anna as a whole human. She's a whole human being with this life that she had before she became a hybrid. And when she transformed, it turned her whole world upside down. So I can't wait to share this with you. My favorite scenes. So, okay, let me get a little comfortable. Okay, so one of my favorite scenes in Youngblood is the graveyard scene. And there's actually a really good story behind that. The inspiration for the graveyard scene is from a vampire TV show that I'm sure everybody is familiar with. Vampire Diaries. It was a very small scene in Vampire Diaries where Elena is reflecting on the bridge with her friends, you know, the same bridge where she and her parents went off the bridge and her parents perished in the water. And she's reflecting on how she feels guilty that she's alive and they're not. So Matt, you know, golden retriever Matt and Caroline, they bring her to this bridge, and they basically, they bring her to a graveyard, and they basically are like, this is your funeral. Here lies Elena, such and such friend, and this is our eulogy to you. Because, you know, Elena really did die as well in that water with her parents, because she became a completely different person after it happened. And she never really had the chance to mourn who she used to be. So that was the inspiration for the graveyard scene. For Youngblood, my graveyard scene is a little bit different, but it does have a lot of the same elements. So for this one, in this scene, Anna is really going through it. She is the epitome of guilt and grief after unaliving her friends and family during her 18th birthday party when she becomes a hybrid. She goes through the whole transformation, and she's just reeling from it, and she just doesn't know how to cope, and she doesn't know how to deal with her emotions too, because she's this brand new species with all of these conflicting emotions. You know, she has like her inner instinct, but she also has her human side that's also, you know, beating her upside the head. So Dorian, he's her imprint. They imprinted immediately when she became a hybrid, and he's trying to figure out, what can I do to help her through this? Because he's Dorian, you know. So he's just like, this is what we're going to do. He tells her to get in the car. Well, you know, he's like, hey, let's go somewhere. Let's go. She gets in the car a little hesitantly, and she's just like, where are we going? And he's like, this is when he tells his story as to, you know, how he became a vampire and, you know, what happened to him in his particular lifetime. And so they get to the graveyard. We're in the grave. Dorian was just like, I see that you're going through it. I see that you feel guilty about what happened to your friends and family. And I'm also noticing that you're not mourning who you used to be. You know, you were human, and then you turned into something that you weren't expecting. And you basically became a whole new person. You know, you died and you came back to life. And he's like, we need to mourn you. So that's what he's basically telling her, that like maybe it's hard for you to get through this because you haven't properly mourned losing yourself or the human that you used to be. So he gets out of the grave and leaves her in there. And she has this whole moment, you know, where she's remembering her dad, her mom, and the friends that she unalived. And then she finally realizes that it's okay. It's okay to let that grief go, or it's just going to keep consuming you. So she basically has to make a choice. You know, is she going to let it keep, you know, consuming her life and running her life? Or is she going to just always remember them, always keep them in her heart? And then is she going to be able to move on? So I really love that scene. It was just such a good one. I might not be telling it right, but I wrote Youngblood such a long time ago. So it's like, this is all from memory. Oh, but, you know, but this is Youngblood. This is the first book in the hybrid series. So you can see I was reading a little bit of it. Dorian. I love Dorian. He loves fiercely. He's completely all in, and he's genuinely kind and caring. Dorian's the kind of character that when he walks into the room, everybody just swoons. You swoon for him because he's just so sweet. He's just this golden retriever. But I think the best part about Dorian is his devotion to Anna isn't necessarily just because of the imprint. It's because he would have loved her in any form that he could get her in. I wrote him in a way where you can feel how much he loves her, and you know that it's genuine and it's not some cosmic connection that's keeping them together. They're genuinely compatible, which is what I really love writing about them. So the funny thing about Dorian is that I originally wrote him as a background character. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know anything about writing romance. I honestly didn't even expect the hybrid series to become a romance type of book. Nothing paranormal romance, romantasy, nothing. I didn't expect this. But Dorian was a background character and wanted an agent for the hybrid series. I still have these big dreams for the hybrid series. I want it to be a whole mini series. I want this to be a mini series basically written for the cinema. And it's come through the pages. There have been readers that have said that like this reads like it could be a movie or a TV show, which is exactly what I wanted. But I was looking for agents back in the day, and a lot of them were like, you need to expand on Dorian's character because they thought that there was just more there between he and Anna, and they were right. So I went in, I expanded it, I gave him more of a backstory, but you know, he's a golden retriever, but he's also destruction incarnate, just like all the other vampires, you know. He can be destructive. But that's honestly the background for Dorian. For Anna, I wrote her a lot like my personality. But I was more sarcastic back then. So she might be a little bit more sarcastic than I am now. I don't think she's snarky, but maybe sassier. I don't think I'm as sassy as I used to be. One of the best scenes that I like with Dorian is when, this is right after Anna completed her hybrid transformation, and Dorian whisks her off to this cottage in the middle of nowhere, and he's just like helping her write it out. But they're teetering on this thin line with their imprint connection, where Dorian knows that she's going through it and she needs a minute, but Anna is like, when is he gonna make a move on me? You know, like, I can't take it anymore, you know, because the imprint connection really just like smacks you in the face with lust and love and adoration. So they're in this cottage together, and Dorian's giving her some space, and he's really sweet about it, but he gives her space in different forms where he'll sit with her quietly. You know, he just wants to like be in her presence basically, but not overpower her. So he'll sit with her quietly, or he'll make a fire and he'll just like crack some jokes and talk to her, but keep it lighthearted. And she was just like, that really made me love him. Like, really made me fall for him. And it really made me believe that I could be safe with him. So when they finally kiss in the scene in front of a roaring fire, because why not? It's just, you can feel the tension just go, just fade away, because we finally got that kiss. And I thought that was a really great touch for the story, just to finally see them really together and giving in to each other. So why should you read Youngblood? Besides the fact that it's amazing. You should read Youngblood because Anna and Dorian's story showcases strength, racial impurities, and unwavering love for family and fated mates. This book has a heavy dose of magical realism. There's witches in here. You know, I mentioned a Romani witch. She's not the best person. She's a dark magic user. And you get to see a lot more of that in this book. There's also time travel, but it's not time travel necessarily. It's time splitting. So if you read Youngblood, you'll get to figure out what time splitting is. And you get to read about other vampires and other hybrids and the abilities that they have. So I really hope that you pick up a copy of Youngblood, the Hybrid series, book 1, because book 2, Shadow Creatures, is coming out next week. And I'll be doing a deep dive on that one too, because there's a lot of really good scenes in that one. And that's not the same point of view. It is in a different point of view. The stronger female character. There's Spice. She has a fated mate as well. So, or an imprint is what I call them in my fated mate books. But I really hope that you pick it up. I honestly think that you're going to enjoy it. There is a bonus scene, and that bonus scene is actually in my author Patreon. So for $3 a month, you can get bonus scenes, deleted scenes. Right now, there's a bunch of deleted scenes from Shadow Creatures, the second book in the Hybrid series. There's also another book. There's a novella that I wrote. It's a reverse harem. It's a Christmas threesome. It's called Melt My Snowman, a Christmas threesome. I love it. It's also an interracial reverse harem with the main female character. She's a Black woman. And so I got a little cut off there. But all I wanted to say was I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll be going back to my regularly scheduled book reviews. But I like doing these deep dive videos, so I'm definitely going to do another one for Shadow Creatures. I can't wait. Oh, I can't wait to hear what you all think about Youngblood. Bye, thank you.